Can You Dig It is the thing we all quote. If anyone knows anything from Warriors, even if they haven't seen the movie, they've seen a clip of Can You Dig It? Immortal line delivery. But the message of what Cyrus is saying is really in that if there's more of us than the people in charge of us, if you can count.
That was really intentional to not name it Can You Dig It or Can You Count? If you can count.
I, like many unsupervised 1980s children, saw this movie at a friend's house on VHS. I just thought the vision of New York was so cool. It was such a mirror image reflection of the New York I was growing up in. And it wasn't until 2009, an old classmate of mine actually emailed me. I just had success with In the Heights. It was my Broadway debut. And he was like, what about Warriors the Musical? When I finally kind of came up for air from the Hamilton phenomenon, I wasn't in the show anymore and I wasn't in the day-to-day in the theater, I asked myself, what do I want to do next? And it was like my friend had incepted me. There was a whole section of my brain that was like, Warriors, we're ready now. As soon as I had the rights, I called Eisa. Can you count, suckers?
I said, can you count, suckers?
The future is ours.
The future is yours
if you can count.
Can you dig it?
The Warriors is everywhere. It's in our pop culture bloodstream. You're on the website to cross-reference this. I think about ODB's Warriors Come Out to Play on that first album. I think about Common on his first album when he goes, Warriors, I'm a warrior. It wasn't us, it was them.
And then also in the new LL record on Spirit of Cyrus. Is Can You Dig It? Is that in there?
He quotes the one wild line in the crowd going, Go Cyrus, we're with you, brother! You got the Moonrunners right by the Van Cortlandt Rangers.
Got the Jones Street Boys by the Turnbull ACs. And nobody is wasting nobody.
That's a miracle.
A miracle.
And miracles are the way things ought to be. I think that's the most powerful line of dialogue in the speech in the movie. In this world more than ever, the prospect of peace, that we all got up here intact.
Yeah.
The promise of leaving your house and knowing you're going to come home at the end of the night is a powerful one. But sometimes seems unattainable.
What I love, though, is that nobody's wasting nobody is the truth of the moment. It's actually something that has already been achieved.
Just
right
by
here,
getting there.
Everyone's there means that everyone's holding to the truth. So far from our turf, we fought so hard for our turf, our one little corner of turf.
That's another line that actually Cyrus repeats in the movie, and the way he says it is so disdainful. For our turf, our one little corner of turf. I mean, he says it like he's saying shit.
The disdain about, the turf is just that you don't have to think that small.
Right.
Right?
Exactly.
You can actually have the entire city be your turf if we hold to this truth.
So now can you see how strong we can be if we can agree that it's all our turf? Where we always belong. One of the things we wanted to do was, she hits turf when she says it, but she's also like, it's all we have, but it's also something all of us have.
We are 60,000 strong. We are never backing down. And there are only 20,000 cops in this whole damn town. Can you dig it?
We wanted to really kind of cadence towards, we outnumber them.
Mm-hmm.
We outnumber those who would subdue us.
Mm-hmm. We outnumber them, by 2/3. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So let's remember that and not feel insignificant, not feel small.
Correct. Yeah, that's the big first cheer line Cyrus gets in the movie, right? But there ain't 20,000 cops in this guy. Remember what you had to do to earn your block. Did any and all invaders keep your neighbors on lock?
Miss Lauryn Hill brought total authority, total gravitas, and just the power of her voice itself. This is exactly what we wrote, and she just sang it down exactly as written. And that's what the whole point was let's just make this really clear what it's like if you are a woman at the head of the gang. Tag up every nook and cranny, spray cans nonstop, make a mission of the competition so your clique is on top. It just makes me think about being a kid and like I had a little gang when I was like in 6th grade, and we were like the Room 1 originals. You know what I mean? Because like everybody copies us, and there's like fun in that. And it's just like, well, you know, we don't have to use that as a way to fight each other. We could actually have like all of us celebrating the fact that we're all dope.
Imagine what I had to do to stay on top.
Baddest bitch in the biggest town, shut them down, open up shop.
A little DMX.
A little bit, just a touch.
A soupçon of DMX. Rest in power. I mean, you know, DMX passed, I think, while we were working on this. So
Is
that right? Yeah, that was pretty much like running mix. Like I was listening to a lot of DMX, so it kind of snuck in there.
It's just in the water. You know what I mean? It's just like, this is naturally where you're gonna go lyrically because like we've been drinking hip hop, you know, since we were kids or born, really. Yeah. Now imagine what we could do if you and your crew got with me and my crew, if we only knew. To me, it's just the 1, 2, 3, because it's like, remember what you had to do. It's like y'all, and then imagine what I had to do. And then imagine what we could all do together because we all have that strength. We are bigger than the mob. We are bigger than the cops. We are where it all begins. We are where it all stops. Can you dig it?
Those are sort of the quote unquote higher power centers in New York in the 70s. There's organized crime. There's the police. You know, that's who these folks are up against every day, day to day, on their corners trying to make their neighborhood safe.
Those are the mob, and the cops are the other gangs. Now we keep up the truce, stand together against dangers.
One borough at a time as our numbers climb.
And nobody is wasting nobody.
New York City is made up of 5 boroughs. The Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan, Staten Island. But hip hop claims all of it. And that's sort of one of the things I love about hip hop and juxtaposing the culture of hip hop into this story is that when we were thinking about MCs to represent the boroughs, it was easy because they rep their boroughs. Like we rep our boroughs. I mean, I wrote a whole show about Washington Heights. So like, that's what we do. You are brothers and sisters now.
And anywhere you go, you are home free. Can you dig it? Our brothers and sisters have died on our turf, and our soldiers have, it's you know, it's multi-gender. That was really important to us, and that's part of the history of gangs in New York, is that they weren't just all dudes.
Because it's all our turf.
We're only divided by turf.
Our soldiers have died on our turf. Our soldiers have died on our turf. Like the cost of this, the cost of continuing to fight each other. Until we decided it's all our turf. And then the other thing that I think we really wanted to hit, because I think it was really important to us as writers, is the promise of peace and the promise of safety.
We fall in our pride, pulled away by the tide until we decide that it's all our turf. And we know our worth. Now imagine feeling safe from the top of the boogie down, from Manhattan down to Staten, all through Coney Island town. Can you dig it? Do you count? Can you dig it? Can you?
Flip the question of can you count to do you count?
Yes.
Which is sort of this message of self-empowerment. Your life is worthy. Our lives are worthy. And that's sort of the last thing she gets to say.
Right, I am somebody.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. At the end of this song, Cyrus is assassinated by a guy named Luther. And both in the movie and on our album, Luther shoots Cyrus, turns to the Warriors and goes, "It was the Warriors. The Warriors shot Cyrus," and really ruins their night. We wanted Miss Hill to sing the song. And we wanted to utilize all of, you know, she's such an incredible musician and artist. And when you got your copy of Miseducation, when I got my copy of Miseducation, the fights we had were I wanted her to rap more. I wanted her to sing more because she does them both brilliantly.